It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Good morning and welcome to Travel and Cruise Industry News on this, the 10th day of April, 2023, coming to you from Bedford County, Virginia, the Central Virginia area. We have a couple news stories this morning, not a whole lot in the news, but a couple things. 2 Princess cruise ships cancel cruises. The Peace World finally sails after 3 years. And Carnival extends HESS. What's that all about? And a whole lot more here live this morning at 11 o'clock. Today, folks, is National Hug Your Dog Day. So if you're a dog owner, a pooch lover, just grab him and give him a little extra hug and kiss this morning to celebrate National Hug Your Dog Day. You might do something nice for your four-legged friend, take him for a walk or a ride in the car, or give him a special treat. National Hug Your Dog Day. If you're listening via the podcast, you can always access the podcast via my blog, which is accessadventure.net, or wherever you get your podcasts from. All the big hitters, just search for Travel and Cruise Industry News, and up pops the Fat Travel Guy. If you are listening via the podcast and ever want to jump over to the video feed, there's always a link in the description so you can do just that, in case you might want to check out any pictures or clips we may be using on that day's show. All right, when last I left you guys on Friday, that was before Mr. Bucket List and I did our little show on our upcoming May 1st cruise. Some of you guys in my regular audience here joined in, whether you're going on the May 1st cruise or not, which is what we wanted people to do. And after a typical technical difficulty on my end, the broadcast that I had set up, just like I do every day on this show, the broadcast that I set up like 7 or 8 minutes before we were scheduled to go live, YouTube ate the broadcast. It disappeared. Have no idea why, but I had to reset everything up, which gave me a completely different link for the people that were watching it. So there were people sitting in a waiting room waiting for us to start on the old link that was no longer there anymore. It was just, so Pete jumped in on his side of the pond over there and started sending links out. We sent links out within a few minutes that we had a nice audience, and it ended up being just a phenomenal, almost a full hour that we spent chatting on our May 1st hosted group cruise. It was so successful, and we had so many people, not only that are going to be with us, but that were still very interested in that and other hosted cruises. We're going to do it again Friday night, same time, 7 o'clock. Hopefully, the technical end of it won't get screwed up so people can just go to it like they're supposed to at 7 o'clock. But anyway, that'll be Friday night. Justin and I and everybody that hopefully even some more folks that are going on the cruise, and maybe we'll get some of the other solo groups that are or solo folks that are going to be on this cruise to join in with us. We do not want to compete against anything that's going on board, which we know that Norwegian is really good about their daily solo meetup of some type. We're not going to try to compete against that. We're going to join that. so that we will do whenever they do, we'll be there as well. We'll probably do some other things. We'll invite their folks to come along for that. I'm going to do a morning meetup, a coffee meetup, sometime before my show, probably like 9:30, maybe 10 o'clock. If anybody wants to stop by, have a cup of coffee, chat about what they're doing that day, make plans with other folks in the group. It could be any number of things. So, and then Justin is planning on doing some activities more in the neighborhood of things on the ship, that are a little more radical than I would do, like riding the they're not bumper cars. What do you call anyway, riding the cars, doing the water slides and things that I might have done 40 years ago, but I'm too old to do them now. But anyway, he'll do some things like that. So we're just looking forward to having a really good time. We may go to dinner with some of the folks. We may do specialty dining with some of the folks. Who knows? And again, we'll know more specifically when we find out about our Norwegian host on the Norwegian Joy. But Justin and I are both looking forward to it. So we're going to have another meet and greet, which is what we called it. I don't know why you'd call it that, but that's what I called it. Again, on Friday night. And of course, that's going to put us up pretty close to heading for Miami to get on the Norwegian Joy after that. I will be staying the night before the cruise at the Intercontinental, thanks to Hot Air Tom. Again, he does this, and it certainly does help me out. So I will certainly take advantage of it. I'm not a fool. I'm probably going to fly this time instead of driving. Again, because I am still getting my strength back. No sense in wearing myself out driving for a couple days that I don't have to. So I'm probably going to fly and get in and have a nice evening there in Miami. There's all sorts of things to do right near the Intercontinental, some great restaurants down on the water. It's a fabulous hotel. So that'll happen on the night of the 30th. And then, of course, I'll be going over and getting on the Joy on the 31st. On the 1st, not the 31st. There's not 31 days in April. On the 1st of May. And then we're going to meet everybody in the vicinity of Starbucks when you get on the ship for embarkation day, so everybody can come by, see what I look like in the flesh, what Justin looks like, so they will be able to recognize us on board and to press and flesh, meet the folks, everybody that's in our group. So it's going to be a fun experience for everybody. I guarantee you on that one. All right. We do have a couple of news stories this morning. But first, got to talk about Scoot-Around. I couldn't do what I do on cruise ships without Scoot-Around. I've been using them now. This is my 9th year that I've used scooters. And admittedly, I am at the point in my life where I may be transitioning to a power chair as opposed to a scooter. I may use both for a while. I don't know yet. That decision hasn't been made. But I will still always support and be thankful for what Scoot-Around has allowed me to do all these many years. It started off on a cruise that I was in the middle of the cruise and the walking was killing me. And I went up to a lady at breakfast one morning. Turned out she was 93 years old. And I said, where did you get that scooter? And she said, from Scoot Around. I said, who are they? Well, they rent scooters at all the cruise ports. I said, oh. So I wrote down Scoot Around and the phone number, so I'd have it for my next cruise. And she says, go down to the front desk. They probably have an extra one on the boat someplace, on the ship someplace. I went down to the front desk. Sure enough, they had one. I think I had 4 days left on that cruise. I rented the scooter for 4 days. I've been on one ever since. The only time I did not use a Scoot Around scooter was last fall when I did the Margaritaville at Sea Express out of West Palm. And there's not a Scoot Around office there. It's the only reason I didn't use a Scoot Around on that one. So I took my personal scooter, which is way smaller and not sufficient for cruise ships, what I used on Margaritaville at Sea Express. But at any rate, I will have my Scoot Around scooter for the Norwegian Joy for sure. I may also have a power chair and use both depending on the circumstances. That's a possibility as well. I'm just going to, again, folks, this is a kind of one of those major transformative issues in one's life, as I may be transitioning from scooter use to power chair use. And it might take me some time to get all the way from one to the other. I have gotten past the emotional side of that one. But anyway, folks, I can't stress enough, if you have mobility challenges, no matter how easy, simple, minor, up to major they are, contact Scoot Around, sit down and talk with them, see what your needs are and what they can do for you. Give them my SRN number, which is that number down there in the description, and they'll hook you right up. Like I say, this is my 9th year dealing with Scoot Around. All right, I'll be back with the news right after a quick break from one of our network sponsors. All right, the top story this morning has to deal with Princess. Of course, that's Ruby. 2 Princess cruise ships have been forced to cancel cruises due to weather issues. Ruby Princess was forced to cancel 2 ports of call during its 7-night Western Caribbean cruise that sailed from Galveston on April the 2nd. The ship experienced bad weather, forcing the vessel's captain to decide not to spend the day at Roatan in Honduras or Costa Maya in Mexico. With only 3 port of calls scheduled during the voyage, guests have lost the majority of the calls on this particular cruise. And at the same time, due to severe weather conditions, Majestic Princess has been forced to cancel 2 of its scheduled port calls in New Zealand. Steady winds of 35 to 40 miles per hour with gusts up to 50 to 60 were expected in that region. The cruise line officials informed guests of the changes via a letter from the ship's captain. The change is painful for cruises and the guests on board, especially those on the 5-night Seacation cruise from Sydney, as they will now have no ports of call. Also from Majestic Princess, an elderly passenger aboard the ship was airlifted by helicopters to Auckland City Hospital after experiencing a medical emergency. The evacuation occurred at 8:15 a.m. on Saturday, according to a spokesman for the Auckland Rescue Helicopter Trust. So that was off the Majestic Princess, who also had to cancel some cruise ports of call. All right, our second story this morning. This has been a long time coming, but late last week, the Peace Boat embarked from its home port of Yokohama, Japan, for its first cruise in 3 years. The voyage, Peace Boat's 114th, will be the first round the world cruise to and from Japan after COVID, carrying 1,400 passengers on Peace Boat's new vessel, Pacific World. The current voyage is focused on humanitarian aid for Ukrainian refugees. And finally, this morning from our friends over at Carnival, Carnival Cruise Line will focus even more on its health, environment, safety, and sustainability excellent program in the coming years. The cruise line and Diet Norsk Veritas have had a long-standing partnership that has ensured that Carnival's corporate and operational safety culture is considered one of the best in the industry, one that will be expanded upon in the future through Carnival's HESS program with a focus on new technology. The HESS Excellent Program is a comprehensive initiative to enhance health, environment, safety, and sustainability in Carnival Cruise Line's operation. That's the final story this morning. Let's jump over in the chat room and see who's fussing at me. Also checking to see if a couple of my people that I'm waiting for messages for are there as well. So let's go to the chat room and see who's here today. Katie's with us. Hi, Katie. I was just looking over our pictures from Port Canaveral this morning. Hot Air Tom is here. Good morning, Hot Air Tom. Dennis is with us. Hey, Dennis. Gretchen's here from up in Ohio. Already hugged him today. Very good, Gretchen. Mike's here. Good morning, Mike. Nikki's here down in Jacksonville. Hi, Nick. Eddie's with us. Yo, yo, yo. Brooklyn in the house. Saying good morning to everybody. Go to the Lincoln Road Promenade in South Beach. Avoid the bars, restaurants, and shops around the Ocean Drive, which is the tourist armpit of South Beach. I agree. I don't disagree with that at all. From the Intercontinental, it's just I don't want anything to do with that big Ferris wheel, but it's just a short little ride for me. It can't be more than a quarter of a mile, maybe a half mile. You go through a little park, go around the Ferris wheel, and then there's 5 or 6 really nice restaurants right on the water, which I was there with Hot Air Tom and Cindy. We ate at one. That's probably where I'll go to one of we ate in an Italian restaurant before. I might try the seafood one this time. But that's my plans right now. Lincoln Road Promenade. I think that's where I'm talking about, Dennis. I'm not sure. It could be. I'm not sure. Emily's with us. Hello, Emily. Hope everyone had a lovely Easter. I didn't even think about wishing that. I hope everybody had a lovely holiday. We did here. It was a little unusual. Amanda, of course, Amanda does all of my cooking. Now, that's my niece. And she decided rather than she hates doing turkey or ham or typical holiday fare. So she just decided to make her spaghetti last night, and she makes wonderful spaghetti. So I didn't object to that in the least. So we had sketty for holiday dinner last night, and then she did get some kind of a lemon cake that was pretty good for dessert. We had a nice holiday. Cold, a little too cold for me. By the way, we had a a freeze warning last night. It was 31 when I got up this morning. Not too happy about that. It's going to be cold again tonight, back in the 30s. And then it's going to be like 80 starting Wednesday. So maybe that'll be the end of winter and fully get into spring here in Virginia. Kenneth's with us, says good morning to everybody. He's up in Pennsylvania. Let's see. There's Kevin 30 and a wake up is here. Kevin, congratulations on hitting the 100,000 mark. Sorry, I missed the live stream Monday or Saturday. Kevin hit 100,000 subscribers over the weekend, which is massive. And if you're not one of Kevin's subscribers, go to 30 and a wake up. He does such good content. I enjoy, of course, I love Kevin to death to start with, but I enjoy everything he does. I've gone back and watched numerous of his old content back in his days with the motorhome and some of that travel and some of his worldwide travel before he started cruising. And his cruise stuff is really good too. Just posted one on nautical terms. You gotta go watch it. It's really good. So that's my buddy Kevin, 30 and a wake up. Great stuff. Let's see. We still have food, cookies, and cannolis left over. Emily, I'll be happy to send you my address, and you could ship the cannolis to me or cookies. I would have no problem with that at all. I like cannolis. That's something that you really can't get in Virginia. Not good ones. That's one of the New York items for me. Eddie says, I'm 58 and awake, I think. Kevin, how's your cruise going? This is Kevin's second week on Caribbean Princess of 4. I think they had to cancel some ports as well, but it wasn't in the press release from Princess. I was pretty sure Kevin had said they had to cancel some ports of call also because of the funky weather. A little sickness going around, but I've avoided it so far. Very good. Ocean Drive has been awful for many decades. We call it the Causeway crowd since they're locals from mainland Miami that drive there. Okay. Kevin says, howdy to M. Ooh, cannolis, Nikki says, my favorite. I'll be right over. Don't I wish? Yeah, Nikki, you and I'll, we could definitely fight over cannolis. Kevin says he's on Caribbean Princess and they had to cancel 2 of our port calls due to weather. I thought that. They gave us a port fee refund of $75. Didn't bother me none. I prefer the sea days anyway. I thought I had heard that, and then it wasn't in their news release. So either the office didn't know about it or something, because they sure had Ruby and Majestic at the same time as you lost a couple. So that's what I thought, but I didn't have that confirmed before I wrote that story this morning. Eddie says when he lived in North Miami Beach, only went to Miami Beach when family visited and wanted to go there. Otherwise, nope. There are no cruising signs, not for the gays, but for the cars. Yeah, I understand. Emily says we love cannolis too. Most visitors have no idea about the Lincoln Road Promenade between Washington and Alton Road, which is the true heart of South Beach. Okay. So probably I've got to do that later on today, but I'm probably going to take an early morning flight down on the 30th. So I'll have time to roll around that area more than I've had in the past, assuming all goes well with the flight. So I may have some time to do some exploring out in that area, Dennis. I'll make notes of that. And matter of fact, let me do that right now while I'm thinking about it. It's not jot the notes down. Washington Avenue, Alton Road, true heart of South Beach. Okay. It's a cruise. Life is here. Says hello to everybody. Everybody's speaking back. Eddie says, my last visit to Miami was in June 2020 with the Bliss. My brother picked us up when we went to Calais for lunch, shopping in back of the ship. I didn't want to visit anything else. I always recommend Michelle Bernstein's restaurants. Michelle Bernstein's restaurants. Her Azul at the Mandarin Oriental was fantastic. She opened a few others since. Okay, so Azul at the Mandarin Oriental. Ooh, I was thinking seafood. I could do Oriental too. Hi there, Tom says you are referring to the Bayside Market. Okay. Lincoln is somewhere else. Doesn't sound like a walkable destination. Kevin said, thanks. Of course, Kevin. Yes, definitely avoid Bayside. It's entirely tourist. Bayside and by Port Miami, Lincoln Road, way over in Miami Beach. Emily said that's what we did. Turkey ham, mac and cheese, rice balls. It was a whole food order from Whole Foods. Yes, they even brought stuff that I don't eat. Bayside, if you make it there, definitely Hooters. I've never been a big fan of Hooters. At one time, Hooters had really good oysters. They weren't oysters on a half shell. They like something like oysters Rockefeller that I mean, I didn't go for Hooters for the boobs, folks. I went to Hooters for food. And then they took it off the menu, and I haven't been back since. So, yeah, that's that normally is not one in my purview. Kevin says there's 2 out of 4 ports canceled were on the cruise I was supposed to be on. Yeah, the first one you were on. 30 and a wake up, just subscribed, and there is plenty of content there I want to watch. I tell you what, it is phenomenal. I probably a day doesn't go by that I don't jump on Kevin's channel and find something to watch that I've not seen before. He's got a ton of stuff, and he's got some content with like 2 million views, and just something that's I dream about. It's holy cow. Emily says no Hooters. Emily, I'm not being a sexist on that. I used to go to Hooters for the food. There's a bus line that goes to Lincoln Road. Oh, okay. Especially if it's an accessible bus. In Miami, there are some accessible buses which are not good for me for a scooter, but would be good for me if I have the power chair. So that might be a possibility. Katie got knocked off. I hope you didn't get hurt when you got knocked off. But she's back. Emily says, sorry about the spelling. Azul is now closed. Okay. Remember, Dennis, Chillie does not have a car. Miami and is cheap. Thanks, Hot Air Tom. How about a super chat to cover his Uber ride around? Yeah, right. I had 2 dinners yesterday, Katie says, lunch with friends and dinner with my sister. Glad you had a lovely Easter with your friends and your sister. That's pretty cool. Emily says, I don't like Hooters. Y'all know me. Yeah, but I liked it for other reasons. And many people go there for other reasons that I just could care less about. I shouldn't say it that way. I am still a male, however, but that's not why I went to Hooters. Tom, there's a bus line by the Intercontinental Hotel that goes to Lincoln Road at Alton. Okay. So we will, we could possibly do that. It's something for me to look into. Again, I've got to, especially if things go well at the airport and I end up, rolling into the Continental and drop off my luggage, late morning to noonish, I've got all afternoon I could do something. So yeah, there's a good possibility I could roll around, check out a bus, make sure they're accessible, of course, and go over there. Well, we could do that. Kevin says you're too kind, Chillie. I'm not, kind of just shooting. I'm shooting straight, Kevin. I like your stuff. So, and I do. I go to your channel a lot. That's for information and entertainment. So I like your style, my friend. Gretchen says she's subscribed to 30 and a wake up. Very good. You guys, that's good, you guys. I'm glad you guys are going over there. And she's never been to Hooters. Sorry about that. Dennis says it's only a couple dollars. There's also an express coach from the airport to South Beach for a couple dollars. Yeah, but because I got luggage and stuff that I'm traveling with and possibly a chair, I need to at least go by the hotel and drop stuff off, especially if I catch their shuttle, which is a possibility as well, if I remember correctly. Anyway, that's something I'll have to look at. But anyway, we're getting closer and closer to getting all this packaged together. All right, guys, that's going to wrap me up for today. My voice is starting to give out again, which is, doing better, but you can still hear a little gruffness in my voice. So that's going to wrap me up. As always, folks, we'll be back same time, same channel tomorrow. Appreciate the thumbs up if you haven't done so already. That helps the channel out a lot. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. That helps too. In the meantime, I'll see everybody back here tomorrow. Stay safe, stay healthy, think about cruising, and hopefully one day soon we'll all get together on the high seas. This is the old fat travel guy. Have a fantastic day, everybody. See you tomorrow.
I regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry. So if you like to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, Chillie chats, and travel and cruise industry news, just hit the little subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner. Hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when a new video is up or we go live. This video was produced by Chillie's Cruises.